let people in.
So let me ask you, I'm curious. Uh,
I am
I don't know
recording
why
this
that
one.
recording keeps.
I'm doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, I got
Hey,
Mike
Jason.
calling me.
Travis is on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Great. Thanks.
What's up? Yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah. I think for everybody's sanity, I'm going to go ahead and mute all the lines. So if anyone is going to chime in later in the call, just make a note that you'll have to unmute. Mark, is Jim going to join us? Well, I just muted you, Mark. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Couple more minutes and we'll get started. I see Jim popping in there.
Hey,
How you doing, Jim?
doing good. How about you?
So far, so good.
All right,
I
Mike.
just figure out how to get this PowerPoint to work. Operator error. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I know I'm in the right place when I see Jim and Mark.
Well, that might be the wrong place, though. You never know.
That's all right. Mike Wells is there.
Yeah. Well, he's shadier than we are, so
Oh, you have no idea.
I'm learning.
I got kicked out of a bar that had a dirt floor. So what does that tell you?
You did it hard then.
Pretty. I would say you're an overachiever, Jim.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I think we're going to have to figure out a way to admit people without clicking 100 times. Admit all. All right, people feverishly logging in here. Let's give it just another couple minutes. People still pouring in. Good crowd today.
Yeah, you think something was going on.
Yeah.
When is it not? See, I'm used to you guys. I grew up with three brothers, two good, one really bad.
Well, we'll have to figure out which ones are the good.
I was like, I don't want to know which one's the bad one out of this group.
Okay, let's see here. Mike Mason, I'm going to make you the host so you can let people in.
Perfect.
And hopefully I can still move the deck. All right. Well, it is 1 minute after the hour. Let's get this party started. Welcome to, what is this? March 5th, 2025. Welcome to the update call. A lot of stuff going on in the Social Security world. We had a call, I guess, about a week or 10 days ago, the open forum call. We talked a lot about the WEP and the GPO, and then this morning I get a bulletin from Social Security that they're getting after paying these retroactive benefits. Jim Blair, did you get your check yet?
I got it yesterday. Got a little bit more than they said the average was, so I'm not complaining.
Okay.
Now, just if anybody asks when I saw that it was in the bank, I logged into my Social Security account to see if it showed what my new amount's going to be. And on the homepage, it still showed the old amount with WEP still applied. But I printed up a benefit verification letter, and because it takes a while to get the letters out to you, but the benefit verification letter shows the new amount. So if you're talking to a client and they are wanting to know how much, not only did I get this back pay, but how much is that going to increase my monthly benefit, just have them print up the benefit verification letter and it will show the new amount. It'll show the gross amount less any for Medicare, and then they'll see the net amount.
And Jim, you had a little hack or some words of advice on people applying for those retroactive benefits or getting the wheels in motion so they wouldn't max out on the 6 month only retroactive benefit or something to
Yeah,
that effect. Can you refresh us on that?
sure. Some of the benefits, there's no problem, like windfall. I applied for benefits many years ago, and because I'm receiving benefits, they were able to go back to January of 2024 to start my increase. So it was more than the 6 months. That's no problem. If someone is receiving a spouse, ex-spouse, or survivor benefit, and their benefits offset for government pension offset, if they're getting a benefit, it's the same thing. They'll be able to go back all the way to January of 2024. It's the folks that never applied. So, for instance, I never applied for benefits on my wife's work record because GPO would have completely eliminated my benefit and there was no reason to file. Well, if I want those benefits, I need to file for those, and that's where the 6 months comes in. So the people that have to file an application need to at least call and make the appointment as soon as possible. It may be several months down the road. Their appointment calendars go out 60 days. I called in January. There were no appointments available at my local office, and they said someone would call me. Well, 2 weeks go by, I didn't hear from anybody. So I sent them a nice letter and said, hey, I called on January 30th, and someone's supposed to call me to make an appointment. By the way, I used to be a supervisor and a claims representative in that office. So, show an old former employee a little respect. Now, I was nicer than that, but no, still nobody ever called. But I got a letter in the mail. I do have an appointment, but it's not till April 11th. That's okay. They'll still use January 30th as my file date. And if I am eligible off of her record, they'll go back 6 months from January, not 6 months from April. So you want to make that appointment as soon as possible.
And Jim, is this related to the fact you're pertaining it to WEP and just not having a spouse?
Well, the WEP is based off of your own work record. And generally those people have already applied for benefits because you always get something. It's the government pension offset that's usually the problem. Um, a lot of people didn't apply because they wouldn't be eligible with the government pension offset. Those are the folks that need to apply now.
Okay, thank you.
And there's some good money in play here. It says the average retroactive payments so far is 6,710. According to Social Security Administration, don't know if anyone's seen this bulletin or if everyone's seen the bulletin. Through March 4th, yesterday, they've paid over 1.1 million people more than $7.5 billion. So away we go.
Yeah, I got a nice check of about almost $7,300. So, and then my next month, my check will be I get a raise of around $535. So, nice little raise. I'll take it.
Heck yeah. Well, Jim, what do you know? And maybe Mark can weigh in on this too. We've got a few slides here with some bullet points, and we just kind of wanted to go over what's swirling around the rumor mill, if you know anything with respect to staff cutbacks, layoffs, that sort of thing at Social Security. You have any insight on that, Jim?
I talked to a current assistant manager. He's assistant manager of the Springfield, Ohio office. Springfield. If you pay attention to politics, you've heard Springfield, Ohio come up a few times. Well, he's the assistant district manager up there. I talked with him yesterday, and a few things. All non-bargaining unit employees, effective today, are returning to the office 5 days a week. The bargaining unit employees, now that's the people that take your applications. They still work from home 3 days a week and come into the office 2 days a week because that's all in the process of being worked out between the federal unions and management. So who knows when that'll happen, but they expect it at some point to happen. They're also looking at no new hires. They don't know for how long. They weren't hiring many people anyway, so that wasn't much of a change. And the thing that's going to be painful is for the agency is right now he said they have about 57,000 employees and they're expecting to try to cut about 7,000 of those. Now, those are going to be people that are not mission critical, which means your local office probably won't see a cut. But as he was telling me, that's what they're saying now. But if they don't get 7,000 people laid off from regional offices and central office, then they may come out to the field. So as of right now, the field's still looking okay. But if somebody has a problem, you have to go to the payment center. There used to be 7 payment centers. There are now 4. So they've consolidated those down to 4. And I don't know, if they get rid of 7,000 people, that's probably where that's going to come from. And if you got somebody that's having an issue with their payments or any particular problem they're having, a lot of times the field office can't fix it. And you have to go to the regional offices for them and the payment centers for them to fix it. And if there's less people, well, they work hard. I'll give them that. I always say to people at Social Security, I don't know about other federal agencies, but people at Social Security work real hard, but you can only do so much in 8 hours.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so it's looking a little bleak for the future.
Well, and from some of the things we've heard kind of anecdotally, the wait times were not, well, just your own example, your own experience calling in January and being pushed out till whenever it was for an appointment.
April.
Yeah, April. So what probably wasn't great to begin with is potentially going to get a little bit more difficult. That does, I think it's safe to say that could be an opportunity for us, for NSSA certificate holders. We're probably going to get some questions. So keeping up to date I have subscribed to for quite some time these bulletins from Social Security. You get a lot of stuff hitting your inbox. But if you're going to be the authority on Social Security, probably not a bad idea to sign up for those Social Security updates. You get all those updates, Jim?
I get quite a few. Yeah, I guess I get them. I try to make sure maybe I get the ones I hear about the ones that don't go out to the public too. But I have to bug people about that.
Good deal.
Okay, I have something here that I'd like to bring up. So we also have lots of questions in the chat too. But anyway, my sister-in-law and brother, they both live in Columbus, Ohio. They're Ohio State Buckeyes fans. And she's a school teacher, receiving no doubt her state pension. She retired. She's kind of in her mid 70s. Don't tell her I told you that. My brother's a little younger. Well, anyway, he began his Social Security benefits at his full retirement age because he knew that her name is Jeannie, would not be eligible for any spousal benefit due to GPO. So he decided to take it at age 70. Well, of course, now things have changed. So she has applied for her own benefits a while ago, and so she's receiving something from SSA. So a couple of things going on. Number one, how does she apply to receive the spouse? It's a spousal boost off of my brother Sam's work record. So she needs to contact SSA at 800-772-1213 to schedule an in-office visit or a return phone call to apply for the spousal benefit boost. If she had never applied for her own benefit because she wasn't eligible for anything off her work record, then get Jim verify she could have just done that online, right?
Right. If she had not received her own,
Yeah.
filed on her own retirement, she could have filed
Yeah.
a spouse online.
Okay. And she received an email from SSA when all this stuff was going down. And there is a question about one of the sentences in the email. It's under the heading, what we need you to do. So what we need Jeannie to do. Sign in to your personalized Social Security account to verify or update your mailing address and direct deposit info. If you have filed for spouse benefits but not receiving them due to GPO, please call that number, 800 number. But the other one is if you had any change in your pension amount between January of 2022 and December of 2023, please provide us with the date of the change and the old and new pension amounts. You do not need to report any changes that occurred after, I can't see the whole thing, but I'm going to say it's after December 31st of 2023. So Jim, Jeannie told me that she tried to go online and wanted to update her old her new pension amounts. I assume that it's due to WEP. I don't know for sure why they want the update figures since WEP and GPO don't apply anymore. But they're asking for it. So she says she tried to go online, did not find where she could enter any new state pension information. Jim, have you kind of been through this yet?
No, that was the first one I'd seen like that. So they want to know about pensions before the law changed because they wanted to claw back some of their money. They want to say, nah, maybe that's not fair, but the weapon GPO still applied. So
At that time,
if you got more from your state pension, then maybe GPO should have been more of a reduction.
yeah.
Or if your WEP was based off of that guarantee where they didn't reduce your benefit by more than half of your pension, if your pension went up, that changes that guarantee figure. So
none of that
they're
applies
probably
to
just
her.
trying to get all that done.
Yeah.
And because you're going to be due a back pay. So if you owe them some money, they'll take it out of your back pay.
So they want the information. So there's no place online to put it. So I guess she should just call Social Security and give it to them over the phone.
Yeah, just call.
Okay, it's fine.
And if there's any doubt about anything with any of this, call.
Yeah, call. Yeah, good luck on calling. I'm sure they're being
never assume.
bombarded.
Don't assume. Let them
Yeah,
tell you yes
yeah,
or no. Uh, but if there's ever any doubt, just give them a call.
yeah. I'm sure they're being bombarded with phone calls. So, Jim, how many Social Security reps are expendable? According to
Well,
SSA, was it 7,000?
7,000 employees. Now, it depends on the job. Claims representatives, service representatives are not expendable. So they're
Yeah.
mission critical.
I
And, like when the government shuts down, those are the folks that always have to show up to work. Um,
I saw I read an article recently which indicated there are like 57 or 58,000 employees at SSA.
right.
We've been using a figure of 61,000. That was the last figure I saw, and now I find out it's 57 or 58,000. So it's lower than I thought, and they're gonna let 77,000 people go. I believe that's more than 10%, right, Jim?
That's over 10% of the
Oh my
employees. Yes.
goodness. Why not just fire everybody? Except the person that sends out the checks, of course, right, folks? I get my check the third Wednesday of the month, which is going to be March 19th, which I'm excited about. So don't let the person go that has to transmit my money to my bank. Everybody else, well, if
Mark,
say,
you're not one of those people between 100 and 160 years old that are getting benefits, are you?
well, I don't think so. I don't think I am. And I heard that some people in government think these people are that old because there was like a placeholder date for some people, and the placeholder date was in the 1800s. And so I don't know what the placeholder date was used for, but that's what they're basing it on. People that were born in the 1800s are receiving Social Security benefits. Isn't that just amazing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonder
And
how
they're
they
not,
signed up.
it doesn't mean they're getting benefits. Social Security has several records.
Hmm.
Your Social Security number, it's not recycled. So anybody who applied when the law was passed in 1937, those people are probably deceased, but they're still in the record. They still have their Social Security number. So if we've got people in their hundreds, I would say the odds are uh, they're not getting a benefit. That's the NUMEDIT record is what they call it, and it's just their Social Security record from when they applied for a Social Security number. The people receiving benefits, Social Security does a couple of things. If you don't use Medicare and I don't know what the time period is, but if you don't use Medicare for a certain period of time, they'll contact you to see, are you still here? Um, we
Okay.
used to go visit everybody that was age 100 or older. I did that a few times, and you just go and congratulate them on reaching the age that they're at. And the real reason is we were making sure they were still alive. It's because they were receiving benefits. And lots of things have changed. And unless somebody has Aunt Sally in a freezer in their garage or basement, if they go through a funeral home, the funeral homes have to notify the states that someone has passed away. And the states have agreements with Social Security. They all notify Social Security that they received notice from the funeral director. So while we always tell people call Social Security and report the death of someone, odds are Social Security already has that on their records when they call. But could there be one or two? Maybe, uh, but it's not very likely that the number is very high at all. And I don't know why somebody, if there was one person 900 years old or something. I don't know. It was something crazy. Uh,
360, I think.
Oh,
yeah, it's there was somebody older than our country uh, has been around, and how hard would it be to contact Social Security and say, "Hey, is this person getting benefits? We need to look into that." And Social Security, uh, Privacy Act ends when you die, so they could say, "Nope, they're not getting benefits anymore." But
well,
uh,
Jim, not using my Medicare benefits is not a problem for me. I
me
have
either.
I have doctor's appointments almost every month. I had a stress test yesterday. I've got an ENT appointment. I have a tinnitus in my left ear. I've got an ENT appointment in about 2 weeks. Cardiologist, kidney person. I tell you, guys,
Good
ladies.
grief.
That's why I wanted to kind of have somebody else take over the company and the program because I need to concentrate. I got to reduce my stress level a little bit.
Gentlemen, may I ask a question?
Please.
Okay. I heard that 1885 was used as a default date if applications came in and no one ever put a date of birth. Okay. And the default was put in there for the purpose of ensuring that a check would not be sent out until it was corrected. And as someone, put in their chat back that not getting benefits, they're just in the system. Was that a way of protecting so checks would not go out automatically? I'm just asking those who have been in Social Security if they know of anything about that place.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I've not heard that, but I suppose that could make sense. I know at one time when you applied for benefits, you had to show proof of age, and that's when it was real difficult, especially a lot of people in the South. They didn't have birth certificates. So you had to go with family Bibles, and hopefully there was a family Bible around, but you had to jump through all kinds of hoops. Now, if your record matches, if what you tell Social Security matches their record, they don't ask for proof of age anymore. But that's because they feel that over 99% of their records are correct. So, you know, does this mean there'll never be overpayments on Social Security? Nope, there's always overpayments, and there's a lot of them for various reasons. The annual earnings test, people on disability go to work. Um, the family maximum, somebody else applies for benefits. So there is work to be done to try to reduce that as much as possible. But some of the stuff they're talking about makes no sense.
Right. And because everything's automated and computerized and you press little buttons in that, surely anyone who saw a million people over age 100 or even higher numbers, uh, that they could verify if checks went out. So is there any reason for all this verbiage, Jim, would you think?
It's all politics. They're all fighting each other. Just if you think there's a lot of people getting benefits that shouldn't be, then go to the agency and they can check on it and they can report back. It's not that difficult.
Right. Thank you.
Hey, Jim, well, we had a bunch of comments here, and I think a lot of people had their questions answered by other folks on the call. If you're going to sign up for those Social Security updates, be a little bit selective on the boxes you check, or your inbox will be flooded every day. They have a lot of updates, so pick the ones that you want. We had heads up on potential tax surprise from the payment of these retroactive benefits. That's a good catch. And Jim, a couple questions too on the staffing predicament. The downsizing, if you will, that they're working on right now. That'll probably affect Medicare in some way as well, right? I mean, they're not trying to. The staff reductions aren't specifically from the Social Security side of the Social Security Administration. Could impact Medicare benefits as well, or applications, processing, that kind of thing.
Well, Medicare is its own agency, so problems with Medicare go through CMS, Center for Medicare Services, but you still file the application for benefits through Social Security. If you get a Social Security benefit, they take Medicare out of your benefit to pay for the Part B premium. And so if there's an issue, that's been a problem for a long time because people always go to Social Security. I'm having problems with Medicare. And most of the time, the people at their local office will say, well, you got to call Medicare. And they don't have field offices. So the cuts are going to come from Social Security. There's been some talk about telling Medicare to take it over and be complete. Take your own applications and for benefits and take care of your own problems, but I doubt that'll happen.
Good deal. Well, hey, we wanted to jump jump back in here and talk about some of the fun little resources that we've been adding. We committed to rolling out a bunch of resources to help make advisors, insurance consultants, to make your lives more productive. And we've got a new piece. And let me get this out of my way here. The 20 risks of retirement. I don't want to, Trav, are you out there? Travis Stanley? Well, I thought Trav was out there. Maybe he's on mute. Chime in if you can figure out how to get off mute. Our experience has been that when people think of retirement risk, their mind goes immediately to market risk. But of course, there are a lot of different risks, and we need to make sure that our clients and our prospects are aware of these other risks. And you can see them listed here. So we've got this piece that we put together now. It's up on the website. Jason, are you on? Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay. Can you tell the folks where they can find that piece on the website?
Sure. It's basically it's where all the other resources are that you just go into your once you log in. If it doesn't take you straight to the library resource page, you can just click the little member icon on the top right of the page and go to My Library. And then you'll see all of the things you have access to. And this is the, like Mike said, this is the 20 risk to retirement. It's a single page. So it makes it easy for you to kind of print it out and have it as a conversation asset and resource.
Awesome. And also out there, we have the deck for the consumer-facing Social Security seminar presentation. Typically runs about an hour. We've had unbelievable success, myself, Travis, and Mike Mason, doing these public-facing Social Security seminars for years. Gosh, I can't even count the hundreds, thousands of people that we've been in front of by using this kind of a presentation as a resource. We will be recording probably a couple of different run-throughs and posting those to the website. So if you want to hear how we present it, it'll at least give you a little bit of context on how we deliver that presentation. But it's a real good deck. It's kind of a nuts and bolts overview of the Social Security retirement benefits, how they claim, how benefits are calculated, this sort of thing. Spousal benefits, survivor benefits, that sort of thing. So look for that, and look for very soon those dry runs that we'll be posting up there for everyone to look at for some perspective. I think we got that. Folks that want to retrain are eligible to do that at a 50% discount, and that is the coupon code. We actually have quite a large number of folks that have gone through the program, and they decide after a few years it's time to do it again for a refresher. So that is your coupon code. If you lose that or can't find a pen right now, circle back with us if you need that code, you want to retrain. This is a list of the events that we have scheduled for this year so far. We've got a live webinar coming up later this month and a few more throughout the year. And then we've got the live classroom trainings coming up throughout the rest of the year as well. Got one coming up in Phoenix here next month. Mark and Jim, I understand, already got their flights booked. And can't wait to see those guys out by the pool in their Speedos. Actually, I can wait for that. I think I'll be just fine if that.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see.
All righty. Why don't we?
Question?
Yeah,
Chime in here. Hi, this is Daisy over here.
So this is for about the Social Security in terms of the Medicare income related monthly adjustment amount life-changing event is a form SSA 44. I just heard of this yesterday. So I printed out a copy and then it says that it is possible for a person to request a discount if they pay the $185 monthly, that they could pay $74. How does it work?
Uh, they can pay $74 for Medicare.
Yeah, and I have here the form from the Social Security is the form is SSA-44.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing that in there.
Could you please look more into it and then get back to me? I could follow up with you via email.
Yeah, well, do that because I want to take a look at it and see. I know the SSA 44 is used to lower the premiums, but I didn't know it would go any lower than the base amount of uh was it 185 now?
Yeah, no, what the Part B costs 185, and then it says that it could be lowered up to $74. And then for the prescription drugs, the average price is $35.30, and it could be lowered to $13.70.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that. Yeah, send me an email.
I will. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey,
Uh,
guys.
Mike, you're on mute.
Boy, that was my best stuff too. Thank you. Um, just referring to the chats here, Jason's getting a little bit of love for helping a lot of people out here. There was some mention last night of not taxing Social Security. I assume that was State of the Union. I actually did not watch that. Jim, where do you think that's going to go?
They're talking like that could very well happen. Uh, I mean, it's got to go through Congress. It's a change in the law. So there was a couple other things along with that, and we'll have to see. But it's a possibility that it could happen. Now, if they do that, just like with changing the rules on weapon GPO, that's going to mean less money to the Social Security Administration, and the trust fund will run out sooner. But it's going to run out anyway, so it just means they'll have to act on it sooner rather than later. But uh, I think that could probably happen. I wouldn't count on it. Just keep your eye on it. Of course, I always said they'd never eliminate weapon GPO. So what do I know?
Jim, they would, going through and kind of thinking about that from a taxation perspective, not taxing those Social Security benefits at the federal level. We know that some of those that tax revenues going into the back into the Social Security Trust Fund. But would that, as you mentioned, kind of put that more pressure not only on Congress to take action sooner, but probably a likelihood that they would increase those payroll taxes for individuals that are still working at some point.
Yeah, there's some talk along the line of increasing the payroll taxes, so it could all happen.
I don't know if anyone's got an answer to this, but there was a question considering the current administration saying Social Security is an entitlement program. What level of risk do you think Social Security has of significant cuts to benefits? I don't know. I think we're all guessing on that, but you have any opinion on that, Jim?
Yeah, I know they call it an entitlement. Uh, it's an entitlement because you paid into it and you're entitled to get your money back. That's the way I look at it. But they keep saying no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, which Medicaid is definitely an entitlement program. Um, eh, but there's going to have to be some changes. Now, the current administration says we're not raising the full retirement age to 70. My guess is it will go to 70. It may not be in the next 4 years, but either whoever's elected in 2028 or definitely 2032 would have to sign off on something. And I suspect age 70 is going to be in there. I suspect either an increase in the payroll tax or an increase in the cap, uh, or both. So those are my favorite ones. I don't know what else they would do. I don't think they'll cut benefits, at least for people receiving or folks close to it. If they cut benefits, it would probably be in a way of changing how benefits are computed. Um, and so people that are, say, early 50s and younger might see a different way of benefit computation than the current folks do. It's been a long time since they made a change. I think it was 78 was the last time they changed how benefits were computed. So, I mean, besides WEP, but um, it could happen.
A question, please. You know, I've seen Social Security at work. I'm 73 now. Okay, amazing. I got here. But dad collected Social Security. Then mom collected Social Security. Then myself and my brothers collected Social Security. And I always thought if a system works kind of well and it has always delivered checks on time, to provide for the seniors, etc., that any changes would always involve, say, evaluation, assessment, understanding, and proving anything before change occurs. Okay. And what I see in Washington right now with either this, the chainsaw or whatever, it doesn't seem to be much, evaluation that's communicated to people or verification of what their lips are saying. And at which point that could, really cause a lot of stress for people. And therefore wear them down and everything. And if a system works kind of well, if there's meat in there to, remove, shouldn't someone prove that? And what have been the safeguards of Social Security in the past to keep it safe?
Well, the safeguards is you can't make a change unless Congress changes it. So uh, unless Congress passes a law and whoever the president is signs it, nobody else can change it. So the law is already the law, and you have to abide by it until such time as it goes through Congress. And that's a tough thing to do because nobody wants to mess with Social Security because that's that third rail that'll get you unelected. And that's part of the problem on getting it fixed. But I mean, regardless of what you hear on the news, take it all with a grain of salt.
Okay. Then if they are, removing staff, wouldn't that, as we've just discussed, affect service?
It depends. If things go smooth, you just go online and you can apply. We've been through this before. We had a pretty big reduction in force in the 80s. And we had a long time where they didn't hire anybody. Nobody got promoted. You just sat where you were at. People retired and left and nobody got replaced. So it's kind of the same issues they're having now. Back then, we didn't have the computer access that a lot of people now have. Now, that said, this still can be a little bit more drastic for folks. But if you're just filing for benefits, you can file online. If it's one of those, retirement, disability, that kind of thing. It's when you have a problem or it's a benefit such as a spouse who's already receiving on their own or a survivor benefit, something like that, children's benefits where you can't file online. Those could take a while. Some of that still requires the Social Security to process manually, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to be affected by these cuts. So what we're looking at is just longer to receive your Social Security benefits in some cases. But if it's one of those like retirement, those folks should be okay. You just file, it gets processed, and it shows up in your account, and those get processed pretty quick.
So if Social Security is always situational, then the average individual, if they're just filing online, they may miss those situational aspects that might benefit them that just fall by the wayside. And they'll just join the age 62, turn it on, or full retirement or whatever, and miss certain components of that.
Well, it shouldn't fall by the wayside. So, for instance, with children, when you file for retirement, they ask you, do you have any kids? If you say yes, are they under 18, between 18 and 19, still in high school, or disabled before 22? If you answer any of those yes, then if you do nothing, eventually Social Security will contact you to take an application. So it just pushes stuff off. I'm not sure people will lose any more benefits than we're already seeing, where occasionally it happens, but it may just take longer.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. One last thing. I heard that Senator Sanders announced something as a proposal that would keep Social Security solvent for 75 years. Did you hear about that today?
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
He introduced some legislation a couple of years ago that was not well received. I think it was essentially a raising of taxes. It was back when there was that blitz, I guess it was a couple of years ago, of save Social Security legislation that was being introduced, and it doesn't seem like anything ever got some traction. But we'll look into that for sure.
Thank you.
Question
Yep.
that came in, Mark, Jim, one of you want to grab this? Was talking more about the Social Security supplemental payment for retired federal agents or law enforcement that's paid until they reach Social Security retirement age. Being cut with the latest, is it being cut with the latest cutbacks? And then the follow-up question that is that they're starting to hear from clients that these clients are thinking that they're going to be affected by that.
Well, that's the payment through those pensions. What they do is you can file for, and federal employees' retirement system is the same way. You can file for your benefits before age 62, and technically Social Security is part of your benefit. So if you file, say, at age 55, you're not eligible to take your Social Security benefit. And what these pensions will do will pay you an amount that they deem is likely you would receive from Social Security to make up for that until you reach age 62. At 62, those benefits stop, and you're supposed to file for Social Security. You don't have to, but you're going to lose that supplement. But that's all through those pension plans. That has nothing to do with the Social Security Administration.
And there's some, and there's also in that same sort of context, there's actually the private pensions. Some employers have their private pensions set up the same way, where they have that offset or that replacement in there once you turn that age.
Right. And they don't care if you file or not. When you turn 62, the benefit stops.
Yep.
And if you want to wait and get the higher unreduced for age benefit, then you just do without from 62 to full retirement age. But yeah, that's through those actual pension plans, not through the Social Security Administration.
Yeah, and there's also been a couple other comments in there, and I'll kind of chime in. We talked about this already, kind of with the the delays of getting in contact with our Social Security office. I've heard some individuals that have called the Social Security office, and I know Mark and Jim, we've talked about this in the past and some other calls, where you can now leave your phone number, hold your place in line, and then someone will contact you back from the Social Security office. But we're starting to hear from individuals that the Social Security office is not returning some of those phone calls. Members or individuals are not hearing back from that Social Security office. So something to be aware of there. Secondly,
I did that with the 800 number, and they did call me back. But if it's a local Social Security office, that's a possibility.
Okay, good point there. The other thing is kind of on there too, as we're starting to see individuals talking about the delayed in Medicare filing. So, right, we have that 7-month window to enroll into Medicare benefits or to enroll. Usually, the optimal time is that 3 months prior to the your birth month, 65th birth month. But some individuals are finding that they're getting that ID card. They might be filing a month or 2 months before the month that they turn 65, and they're not receiving that Medicare card until a day or two right before their month that they turn 65. So that's kind of putting some anxiety on some retirees as well.
Yeah, I do know if you're getting a benefit and you apply for, and you're coming up on age 65, they won't process a request for Medicare until right the month before you turn 65 because it messes with the payments. And so they just sit on it and hold it uh, for a couple of months. So even if you file, say, 3 months before age 65, it might be the month you turn 65 or shortly there before you see your Medicare card.
Good point.
Yeah, and that's a problem with people wanting to file for supplements and work with advisors that do the Medicare, but Social Security doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually a problem that I encounter very frequent, and that's the frustration that we have. Because then if they don't get their Medicare card before their actual birthday month, and then they're going to be for that month without the prescription drugs, dental, hearing, etc., if they're going for the MAPD plan.
Yeah, it just makes it real difficult to get everything. It's supposed to be where you can get it all set up, and the first day of the month you turn 65, Medicare and all that, and your supplements and stuff kick in, makes it real difficult.
Okay, so the other question that I have in relation to the retirement, if the person starts requesting the retirement at 62 or 65 years old before full retirement age of 67, and then if they continue working, if they go above the limit, let's say every year they went above $1,000, and then the Social Security keeps that 50%, from the age 62 up to 65, correct me if I'm wrong. What happens to that money that the Social Security held? At what point will the person get it back, if they will get it back? I know that you mentioned that before, but I'm not quite sure if I recall correctly.
Well, you get it back by Social Security applying what they call credit months. So every month that they withheld uh, either all or a part of your benefit, they call that a credit month. And what will happen is when you reach full retirement age, they go and see how many credit months that you have, and then they'll change the reduction factor. So the example I usually use is you file 62, your benefits are reduced because you're filing 60 months before full retirement age. That's a 30% reduction. But because of your earnings, you only get 6 checks a year. So when you reach age 67, they look back and go, okay, we reduced you 60 months, you only receive 30 payments. We're changing your reduction factor from 60 months to 30 months. And that means instead of your benefit being reduced 30%, it's reduced 15%. So you would see a raise in your monthly benefit. Now it's a permanent raise. So eventually you get the money back that they withheld, but it takes a while. And if you live long enough, you get more back than they withheld. So it
Okay.
does adjust that, and it adjusts also with that. It adjusts the benefit payable to a surviving spouse. So it's through that credit month, and it's at full retirement age.
All right. And then if they retire at 65, how much does the Social Security pays less? Is it 15% if they retire at 65 instead of waiting for the full retirement?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I think it's 16.3%. Now, don't be too amazed that I know that right off the top of my head. I happened to answer a question just earlier today for somebody with a full retirement age of 67 to retiring at 65. So that's why I knew the reduction was 16.3%.
Okay, thank you.
You're so modest, Jim.
Hey,
So
what can I
modest.
say?
Yeah.
I do have somebody at one time gave me a uh, this thing that said it was like a trophy, and it said Mr. Know-It-All on it, which I thought was nice, except it had on the top of it, it had the rear end of a horse on it. So I'm not sure what they were trying to tell me. Am
There
I
could be a
Mr.
hidden message
Know-It-All,
there.
or do I act like I don't know? But anyway, we all got a good laugh out of it and had a few beers over it. So
Well, I know, Mike, I know we're coming up, we got about 10 minutes left. I know we had a lot of conversations and dialogue, but one thing I do want to mention, kind of going back on the slide, make sure we get everything covered. If you haven't already went in and created your advisor or your profile on the NSSA website, please make sure you take care of that. Make sure that is all updated with phone numbers and that sort of thing. It's a great way to be a lead generation as individuals. Talked to a lot of clients over the years that have actually went in and have actively searched for advisors regarding Social Security. So make sure your profile is updated. If you can get that picture uploaded, that would be great as well.
Mike, I'm on the website. How would I go about doing that, updating my information?
Jason, are you on there as well? Maybe you want to take that as far as how to update
Yeah,
that?
David, if you go to if you click on the member icon, that little gray circle on the top right with the silhouette, or if you're already on your and then go to my library.
I'm on the NSSA pros.com. Is that the right one?
Yes, sir. Yep. And
Okay.
then do you see on the top
I
right of
don't
the
see a
page?
library. I'm going to log in and I don't know my password. Should I just resubmit it or forget it or click forget?
That's what I would do. Yeah. So if you are logged in successfully for everyone else, all of your resources are going to be on that member library page. So you click that little gray circle with the member silhouette on the top right of the page and log in. It should land you there. Let's see.
Yeah, it's not taking my email address.
Okay. Let me see. I'll just, can you email us at engage@nssapros.com?
Engage.
Yeah, I could put that in the chat too.
Engage. Okay.
This is Teresa Jackson. I submitted mine back on February 10th, and I'm still not showing up.
Okay, we can look into that.
So I got the email and I will submit a request to update my contact or add my cell phone or my email to the website. Is that what I want to say?
Yeah, you could just email us and say I need access to the site and we'll take care of you.
Okay.
This is Slow Sue. I'm at the site. I clicked the silhouetted figure, the round, and went to my library. And where would I find that 20 aspects of retirement concerns?
It's at the bottom of that page.
Very bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is. That's why I'm Slow Sue. Thank you very much.
No worries. And
Yeah,
then for
this
everyone else, sorry, Mike, for everyone else that's on that page, it's just manage your directory listing at the top of the page. And so if you update your directory listing, you can fill in that information and we'll get you listed so you can get some leads coming your way.
and migrating all that information over from the old site to the new site and all the new systems that we've got in place. I think Jason will be the first to say that this has been a much bigger job
I got this thing here
than
from John.
anticipated.
Actually,
So
I got
thank
like
you
thing
all
like
for
a
your
week ago, and they asked me if it ever got fixed, and I said no. And then now he's sitting me the same thing again, and I still can't. Am I supposed to be approving something in like production? Is that it? We are doing it in production.
Well, let's see. It looks like we got someone else's conversation going on here. Okay, maybe that's been remedied. Any other admin questions for Jason while we've got his attention here?
Yeah, this is Jamie Carmack. I received an email stating that my certification had lapsed and it wanted me to renew, even though my records show and what I got from Mark earlier showed it didn't lapse until or wasn't scheduled for renewal until April of 25. So I responded immediately to that email and then actually called and left a voicemail. I haven't heard back either way. So I'm just curious, is there a way? I mean, I'm listed on the directory. I'm just curious how can we see our status of our certification or whatnot?
So we don't have that information exposed anywhere, Jamie. So the best way to find out what your status would be to email or call. Let me just check something real quick.
Well, I got an email, I think February 20th, and immediately responded. And then last week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I called and left a voicemail. But so I may have jumped a gun a bit, but it's been a few weeks. So just
Well, yeah, no, you're right to bring it up. Let's see. Yeah, we can sorry about that. We should have responded to you on that. But it looks like you're fine. I could just change your status in the system for you.
okay. Yeah, like I said, I thought the renewal was in April, so I would assume I'd get something to renew at that point or whatnot. But I just again wanted to make sure I was in good standing. So I appreciate you checking that for me.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry about the confusion there.
Well, gang, we're full circle, almost back to the top of the hour. Any other questions for I didn't get a chance to call you the professor this call, Jim. So let me throw that out there. Any last questions for the professor before we punch out for this meeting? All right. I guess we're in good shape. If you haven't already done it, appreciate if you would go to our LinkedIn page, NSSA Professionals, and follow us on LinkedIn. We're broadcasting important information selectively on that. We're not going to bombard you, but we'd like to be able to ping you with little important tidbits as we become aware of them. So that's a good place to do that, good form to do that on our LinkedIn page. Again, it's NSSA Professionals. And thank you everybody so much for joining, and let us know if there's anything we can do to help. We'll see you on the next call.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Steve.
See y'all.
Take care, everyone.
Okay, bye.